Little Red Riding Hood.
Complaints of like, oh, this takes too long to do, takes away that like the time you invested is a valuable reward when you reach those goals. So now we're at the point where it's been nerfed for so long that it's like none of this means anything. It's all pointless. It's just it's monopoly money in points.
Well,
right?
no, I agree with bringing like the skill points down to 1,000. Huge W change. Let's not get this misconstrued. Like literally being able to take a character to 1,000 skill points and being able to play it like everyone else. Huge W change. I did not like having to wait until like I hit 1,700 skill points before I actually got to experience the class. That was just. However, once you get to like the end game skill points, players that get beyond 2,000, beyond 3,000,
Welcome back,
4,000
YouTube.
skill points, just
Going
like
on?
a crazy amount of skill points. You should reward those players with cosmetics for the
So
class.
just gonna be doing a grind here at
Like a
Underground.
basic feature of the class. It needs to
Gyfin for
unlock
about an
the
hour
bonus features,
while
you know what I mean?
The bonus, yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
extended
listening
version,
to
the DLC. You know what I mean? Like
some
that's what
Old
we
Moon
want.
podcast.
Like it doesn't always need to be about the stats. We would totally like okay, now you have an extra 1,500 skill points. I guarantee you that like some players aren't even gonna take all of their skills. They're gonna get the red skill effects first, bro. They're gonna be like, that's more important to me than taking my voltaic pulse. Like it's just that just that simple.
Yeah, I just think
I
PA
want that
sees it
red
as something they
voltaic
can.
pulse.
Yeah.
I think
It's the
PA sees it
flex.
as something they can just sell, right? Like the shy costume and stuff like that. I think that they like. There was a suggestion I put forth a long time ago when the new Vercant came out, and I said this is cool, but there are shop costumes that look cooler than this. This should have like an idle animation. It should have something. And you know what they did? The next costume that got released had an idle animation to buy, but nothing else from the old stuff got fixed. So it's like. I don't know. There's certain things that like it's hard to suggest it because I feel like they're just gonna monetize it. So then there's like you don't get anything for the cool points, the ideas. It's just like I don't know.
I don't
it's
give
just
it too
like
much
a waste.
of it. I don't care. I'll be honest with you. They monetize the Carrick skins. I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
don't care.
well, they're gonna do it to everything. It's just one of those things where it's like
I gotta make money somehow. I don't really care that much.
No,
But, like,
true.
well, I feel
but
like-
then it gets to the point like, what's the point of having the skill points at all? Why don't we just log into characters and we all just have a family level
Character
where all characters
progression.
are 66? Yeah, but we don't
Character
have that because
progression.
you instantly hit it in the first 5 hour of gameplay, right?
You
get
have the
boosted and
weight.
you're there.
Well, you have the weight passive, and that's what we're talking about here: is adding more meaning to those skill points. Because it used to be, Blonde was not wrong. I used to log in all the time, be like, "Am I on the growth, like the growth leaderboards?" I used to literally hit P. Most players don't even know that this exists anymore. I used to hit P, go to rankings, and then I would click on growth and be like, "Dang, there I am at number 15." You know what I mean? I haven't opened this menu in years.
Oh, is that even a thing?
Probably, unless I was looking for a particular
That's still a
player,
thing.
to make sure that they weren't going to try to kill me on this server. You know what I mean? Like,
Is there still
Because-
rankings on here?
yeah, like I like that kind of sense of adventure is gone, and like, yeah, I do think that like over time you're going to lose that a little bit, but you can just adapt
Growth.
it, right? Like those skill points have a use. You can reward players for having that many skill points on a class. It's super
dedicating
doable.
the time.
Yeah.
To,
Huh.
'cause it takes a long time to get those higher skill points. They take forever
Oh.
to get once you get
Oh.
past like
It
what is
Oh.
it, like 1700 or 1800 is
Oh.
like
Leave me
the
alone.
soft cap.
Leave me
And
alone.
after that, it's like 1 point per level instead of 3 per level or something like that.
Yeah.
And so
I might do a
somewhere in like the 16 to 1700s.
the Marnie Zone
We used to
grind.
care about that. Now nobody cares about that. Whatever,
Yeah.
just do an hour.
Potentially.
Of polys, you'll be fine. Complete your seasonal, do an hour of polys, you'll be fine. And that's totally fine. I think for like unlocking basic features and skills on the class, that is exactly how it should be. But like when a player gets really dedicated and wants to spend thousands of hours, you should reward them with cosmetics. Like that's what we want anyway. And honestly, while we're at it, an inspect feature. I have
Yeah, we
no
love
idea
flexing.
how BDO has gotten this far without being able to walk up to another player and being able to inspect their gear and their
I
outfit.
know.
You know what I mean? Like, how can we not do this right now?
I feel like it's a
Absolutely
very common
crazy.
feature in like any MMO in the past. It was an inspect feature, you know, and BDO. I noticed BDO doesn't have it.
Yeah,
I don't
every
know if that's
single.
a good thing or a bad thing.
No, it's a good or it's a bad thing, bro. Like we want to be able to show other players how much time we have wasted in our life on this game. That's what we want. This is the end
All
game.
right.
Like that's what it's
so-
about, man. Like we want
Let's
to brag
see.
about it.
Also,
We'll
like
scroll.
a counter as well, like an inspect per hour counter.
Okay, so we got 1,
That'd be
2,
nice.
3,
Just like standing around with
4,
your cool, I don't know,
5.
Yeah.
cool cosmetics.
What am I missing?
Yeah, bro.
Those
Like yeah.
inspects per
Oh, my
hour.
I would
food.
literally my AFK time. I would
Need
be
my
farming
food.
that number.
2, 3, 4,
My AFK
5.
time would be spent on like either A, the lewdest outfit that I have, or B, the coolest outfit that I have, RP walking around the major cities. Easy.
Yeah.
Like new AFK activity, Pog. But like even stuff like that, man, we would just absolutely love that stuff. Are there any other aspects of our characters nowadays that we feel like just don't mean anything? Like meaningful levels of progression on your on each character that really don't feel like they do anything after a certain point in time?
Breath, strength, and health after you hit level 30.
Oh, the fitness levels, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the fitness levels are completely useless. They're a meme. Like you hit level 30 and then you can't use the juice
Dude,
anymore
no
for some
way.
godforsaken reason.
No way my horse did
and
not
then,
go
like,
in
you
here.
get to level 40 and then
What?
like, I don't even know if anyone is level 50.
Come on, dude.
I think that there is one level 50 strength player because I'll be honest.
That
when
is
I started the game,
ridiculous.
for the first probably 6 months that
I gotta
played
see her
the
freaking
game,
wait 5 minutes.
somebody in my guild, it was intrinsic quality. There was a
It
dude
killed my.
that on God, on the same server, every single day, he had his backpack on and he was huffing it.
How
Gyfin.
did they kill my horse?
Yeah, dude, for like
What?
8 straight months. It was crazy.
Oh my
Every day,
gosh,
24 hours a day, 7
What
days a week.
luck.
That guy was going
Dude,
through
these
Calpheon.
get out of here,
And then
dude.
all at once he disappeared. Probably because he realized
Yeah,
he did
he's
all of that to get
dead.
2
You
pounds
killed
of
him
weight.
already. Wow.
But like,
Oh, no.
yeah,
You shoo.
feels
Go
bad.
on with
But
yourself.
like, yeah, I mean, like, there's probably very few
Jeez, dude.
over level 50 anything but maybe
You know what?
stamina.
I don't need to do the Marnie
Like
Zone.
I see people breath
That's fine.
rating a lot, but like even still, how much does that even
Oh my
mean?
gosh, dude.
Nice.
Horse.
Like it really just doesn't mean
I think
anything.
it's 10 stamina per level or something like that.
Get
right?
over here.
I
Stay.
mean, like so, Blonde, do you have
Stay.
any suggestions for like how you would buff it? Like, cause like
All
I'm
right.
concerned that like if they buff it too much, then everyone's gonna think it's critical, and then everybody has to go do that.
Yeah, I almost just feel like it should be added to the adventure log. Like the fitness levels,
Stop.
I think for the
Stop.
inherent original idea for the game was like, oh, you can work on your character, you can do life skills. It's a like life skilling progression game. You have, oh, if you eat more food, you gain this. Oh, if you walk around a lot, you get this. And I understand that for the original inherent thought of the game. At this point, they should have them capped at 30. Whatever the stats are at 30, just put them in the adventure log and delete the fitness thing. And there's just no point. It doesn't serve a purpose.
Blonde, place the firearm on the table and step away from the gun before you hurt somebody.
It just really does have
Putting
no
it
purpose.
in the
You know what I mean?
adventure logs, we've talked about this. I hate. Well, honestly, you're the one
just
guy
mean-
that loves the adventure logs and how much
do.
gated stats are actually behind the adventure logs.
I'm
I've
just
never
saying
seen
to get
anyone
rid
like
of it. Like completely remove it from the character screen. There's just no point of it being there. If we're all gonna be able to hit 30 in 2 seconds and then never move past it, they should just pull the stats, put it in, just say fitness adventure log because you logged into the game, and just leave it there. And then
No, I got it. I got it. You ready?
I'm just saying that there's no point in even having it be
I'm
a
gonna hit you
thing
with it.
because it doesn't get anywhere.
Family-wide fitness levels.
I mean, you should have a family level. Levels and skill points should basically be a family
level. Okay.
Family-wide fitness level. We're combining life skills. Combine the fitness level too.
What about combined combat levels? Like all your.
Yeah, all the combat levels and skill points should be like it should just, if we're gonna do the same thing with life skills, what's the difference between like you log into a new character day one unless it's a seasonal character, and then once you graduate season it just pushes all those levels into your main character. It should be separate. But like I don't understand why it has to, if we're just gonna combine everything, why can't just it all be combined?
Dude,
really.
I do want individualized character progression. I like the fact that I can brag about how I have multiple level 64 characters or 65 characters. Like I like that. Like, hey, it shows, hey, I've played this class for a really long time, and people log it, they're like, wow, you're almost level 65 on Scholar. Yeah, because I've been playing it nonstop.
Wait,
since it
that's
released,
kind of
whether it's on
crazy.
NA. I'm on EU grinding on
What
Scholar
the heck?
again. I'll do it again. Like,
I think
but
back
like,
in the day it could have mattered, and if they didn't have coupons that let you move that stuff around, I would 100% agree. But the fact that we could just move everything anyways, and
what do you do about stuff like this?
it just used to mean something, and now it just doesn't really anymore. I feel like, just because I see so many running around. But that's something I pay attention to, is like high level people and characters, to where it's like, I'm like, for a long time,
Dude,
I was
he's
like, I was
almost 65 on
66,
Scholar.
I'm like, yeah, bro,
That's
no one else
kind
out
of
here is like
nuts,
hitting these
dude.
levels. And then like now people are just chilling at those
65
levels,
on
and it's like,
Scholar. I've never even
what the heck, man?
played
What's going
Scholar.
on?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think one of the biggest things that killed leveling for me was the fact that they allowed Bria to basically just do whatever they wanted for, like, we all know, you know it, I know it, we all know it.
Yeah.
There was a account on North America that basically botted RBF for all intensive purposes. They had multiple players playing on the same account, but like then it was very obvious that they would go into RBF and they would just attack the wall. Right, so they wouldn't get the AFK penalty for going into RBF. They would just like basically run into the wall, or like attack the wall, attack nothing, whatever, for over 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And like that's obviously not TOS, right? And like this person, the reason that they're doing that is because RBF gave you a percentage of a level. And so after a while,
percentage
it actually
of a level
became the most cost efficient EXP per hour was to just do RBF.
Wow.
Once you got to a high enough level. And like this person was just always in RBF griefing their team, and like it really demoralized I think a lot of the top end grinders from trying to go get levels, because they just never got removed from the game. Like that was just permitted.
That's kind of crazy. I know that.
Mainly because they had been banned once. Like this is just the story that I heard about this, so I can only speak to what I heard. But they had been banned once, and then they proved that it was like other people living in the same house, or that it was somehow okay that other people were playing on the account.
Wait, what?
Whatever. But then like after that, it was very clearly a bot program. But because they had already been banned once and like relieved of duty once, Pluribus didn't feel like doing anything to them another time, so like it just kept going. I'll be honest, I haven't heard anything about that account in a long time, so it's possible that they either changed family names, or maybe they did eventually get the ban hammer. I'm not sure. But
yeah,
like,
maybe.
when this was going on, it was a serious problem, and it really demoralized it. There were posts on Reddit. People were really upset about this.
Yeah.
Like, people would always be like, oh, Bria, the first one to level 67 or whatever.
67?
Like, yeah, but they're
no
like
way,
cheating,
dude.
so, like, who cares, dude? Like, this is like, this is BS, man. Like this should have been handled forever ago. So like
Yeah,
it was
that's
I don't know, it's
crazy.
just really annoying, and it took away from like the actual world bursts that actually grinded for it and worked for it themselves. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. So people are saying their account was either sold or they have a new family name. Yeah, I mean, I don't see it. Like, I don't do RBF very often, so like, I can't speak to whether or not that there's an account still doing that in RBF. But like, I do know that it was like that for a long time, and it was very, very frustrating for a lot of us. So, but yeah, as far as like the levels, skill
Okay,
points,
starting off strong.
like I
Nice,
think that
nice.
being
Got a tongue
equalized
grad
character
necklace.
progressions. I think unifying
Bring it on,
like,
baby.
levels on all characters.
I'm telling you,
is
this
a
is gonna be the
step too far.
best hour
Also,
yet.
how
I
you handle
promise you.
subsidies would be kind of miserable.
As long as I don't die,
But like unifying that is too far. I think that there
which is a
should
very
be individual character
high chance of me
progression.
dying.
I think that it should feel
I'm not gonna
like
hold my breath on
meaningful
that.
when you grind on that character and you are level 66. Like, hey, I have the blue.
Yeah.
Like, you can't implement what Jay wants and then do what Blonde Bear just suggested, right? Like, if you give people a
They
blue
have to pick
skill
one,
effect for hitting
yeah.
66, you can't combine all the levels because then it's not unique anymore.
Yeah, true.
So like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, my point is that like, if they're not going to do anything, what's the point of having it separately, right? Like there isn't a reason, and they haven't added anything. And I would love if they did. That would be so cool. But when's that going to happen? You know?
They might,
I mean, I feel like
I-
people have been suggesting that for a long time, and PA is just like, we don't care. So
maybe like I don't know. Like I think we keep suggesting it, not necessarily us, but if the community starts talking about it enough, it gets recommended enough on the forums.
Yeah.
The developers see
Like,
it
look
enough.
at Crystal Presets. Didn't we complain for like
Exactly.
3 years for Crystal Presets?
Yeah.
We got him.
Took a
We got
while.
him, boy.
We got
Took
them,
a
boys.
while.
It only took
3 years later.
You know, all you got to do is complain
Yeah.
for years, and they will eventually get to you.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll see you guys in 3 years when we got our
Yep.
skill effects.
Yeah, hey.
Yep, pretty
I'm telling
much.
you, and we're all playing
be there.
Ashes of
I'll be
Creation for the
there.
4 days that's going to exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, bro. Okay, one last thing that I do want to talk about today, and again, this is another PvP topic, so I'm not sure how much you guys are necessarily going to, experts on this, but like we got to talk about this new GVG, system
Guild Leagues.
in the game, the Guild League system, right? Is
Pretty fire, huh?
literally the talk of the town in the PvP scene. I haven't.
Ooh.
There is only. I mean, this blew me away. The feedback that I have gotten on this has blown me out of the water. I thought that this game mode, like honestly, I
Would be
thought that
dead.
this game I was like, people are going to do it a lot at the start,
Yeah.
and then that's going to be it. And that may still be how it goes. But I'll be honest with you, the feedback on the game mode is incredible. People love this game mode.
Oh.
They just, that's
I haven't even tried it yet.
They just want to queue up with their friends because it's
I
like
haven't
an
tried it.
equalized GVG system. The biggest problem with GVGs in the past
Equalized.
were that, okay, well, eventually one side is just going to get zerged. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean
It's just
equalized
really
with the
annoying.
players,
In this case,
not with the
you have
gear
a shot
though.
caller. It's like a small scale battle. It's like its own like little meta game is evolving out of it. It's just really, really cool. And players are really enjoying this game mode. And I did it last night for the first time as well. So I did like 2 or 3 rounds with Barcode. And I was on the winning team. I was on the losing team. It feels good. It is a lot of fun. It is super, super cool. Everyone's talking to each other. Everyone's having a good time. People are like super excited to do it. I would say that the rewards are still not high enough because they allow you to pop consumables in the game mode. So like, you're spending 60 mil a life. You know what I mean? It is uncapped gear, and you're dropping all the big boy consumables, bro. Like you are going
aren't you doing
in.
that like in actual GVGs too, like outside the world? So
Not necessarily. Like if you're getting zerged, bro, I'm not popping elixirs. You're crazy right now. You know what I mean? But like this, as far as like paying people for like this competitive like ranked mode, like GVG system goes, it is more silver than we've seen before, but I still don't feel like it is enough because you're spending so much on the game mode that like you end up only making about 200 to 300 million an hour, like off the game mode. I will say the queue system seems pretty solid. I'm not entirely certain that the MMR system is working the way that it's supposed to. Because Cho Nation and Black Rose, which are the top 2 on North America, I believe, as of this moment, I don't even think they've fought each other yet.
Well, that's kind
I
of
think
crazy.
we're dodging each other. That's what I was reading in some
They're
random
not
discourse.
dodging each
How
other.
can you
Both are
how can you
dodging each other
dodge?
intentionally.
It's like a
Nobody's
queuing
dodging
system.
each other intentionally, and you can prove that just because you can tell by how many matches they've played to this point. You can tell. Literally, they've played the maximum number of matches that you are allowed to play.
It's weird that they
No
haven't
one
played
is
each other.
skipping or trying to dodge
Huh.
queues with each other. We're all just queuing up and just rolling into it. And so like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if the MMR system isn't working super great because like barcode will we'll get paired against Black Rose, and then we'll get paired against a guild that's like ranked 35. You know what I mean? Like barcode's like number 5 right now. But like I'm not sure if the MMR system's not working properly or
RNG.
what, but
it is BDO, so
it is RNG. But like it is concerning when you fight a guild that's that far kind of down on the ladders because like we want people to continue doing this, right? In NA, there were like I think there were 55 guilds that had already participated. You need to understand that's a lot of participation.
Yeah.
For a game mode that requires you to have at least
Where
10 people
is
online basically all the time.
blue?
I'm curious if it's
blue.
let me see if I can find it. Alliance member status, guild boss subjugation, guild league. Here we go. If I look at EU here, I'm looking at Orca Band Limited, and if we go all the way down to the bottom, there are 61 guilds, and the 60 Temptation is not having a super great time, but maybe they are. They're 1 in 8. They're the 61st guild on this list, which means they've played 9 matches with at least 10 peoples in every match. This is a lot of PvPers enjoying this game mode. This is like the majority of the scene. If you look at AOS, there's maybe 2,000 people for each region that really do AOS. Like this is at least half of them have done this game mode within the first like 48 hours that the game mode has basically existed. I'm telling you, man, people really enjoy this thing. It is super cool. Like the Shies are all super excited about it because they are absolutely essential to it. It's got its own little meta game. Every class seems relatively viable except for Ranger. Screw those people anyway. But like, yeah, I mean, like we're all just having such a great time with it. Like you do get consumables and stuff with it too. And I think that overall the level of open world toxicity, like not GVGs, but toxicity, has decreased as well in the last few days that I've been grinding. Like people have just reported that hey man, people used to bother me all the time at this grind zone. Then they're just doing the guild league now instead of just constantly griefing me at my grind zone, which is a W.
I mean, I mentioned in the past before.
I don't know if that's necessarily a W. That's what makes this game unique.
And the reason
is you defend your
like, some
grind
people
zone.
gave the reason why they're doing all like this griefing is because they're trying to find some sort of PvP. They're trying to find that PvP content to do, and now that there's PvP content, and that's helping with that situation. All I can say is that I'm
to an
happy.
extent.
As a PvEer, I'm happy for the PvP people because I've been happy with whatever they've been giving me as a PvEer.
Jay, are you interested in doing the game mode? You play Shy, right? Like in Wusa and stuff. Are you interested in doing it?
I mean, I from what I've seen, like it's not really like my cup of tea. I'll give it a chance. I'll like try it out.
If it makes you feel better, Notorious is like ranked 78 out of 79 guilds. So like you're probably gonna play against bad players. Like
oh, okay, that makes me feel better.
It's funny because when this first got announced, a lot of PvPers I was talking to were like, "Oh, this is just stupid. Why are they adding this?" Da, 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 da. Yeah, there's so many doomers, and I was like, "Guys, just wait, just try it out, give it a chance. You have no idea what you're willing to like." It gets me so far. And same thing with War of the Roses. Everybody's like, "Oh God, blah blah. This is gonna suck. 300 is gonna lag." And it's like it's so irritating. We get a wall of just like disgust when anything new's coming out, and then it comes out, and then they taste it, and they're like, "This is pretty good. Oh my God. Oh, I like this." It's like give it a freaking chance, man. Come on. So I'm happy to see everybody's enjoying it. I'm happy to see the feedback immediately was taken into War of the Roses, and they're looking at that. And honestly, I hope they just got to keep listening to feedback, which it's been on an upturn.
For the first,
and even the global lab changes, like
for the first time in 7 years, it do feel like they actually listening to player feedback.
Listen, it took them a hot minute last year to kind of get the ball rolling. You know, they got Land in the Morning Light, and people were like, and then we had the later, we had the Lakita expansion, we had everything, and then like the announcements from this Calpheon ball and everything else. That listen, BDO's up big. It's just gonna take some time. You know what I mean?
I mean, like I think like what I like so much about the GVG system is that you can get really sweaty with it, or you can just chill out, go in and bang some matches in. You know what I mean? Like Barcode fought Ethereum last night, and everyone was like, "All right, boys, lock in." You know what I mean? And you know that Ethereum was thinking the exact same thing, and that was like a sweaty match, and it was just like 15 minutes. There wasn't any BM. Everyone just like it was a 15v15.
Would be cool to try it
flat
out
out.
at some
We
point.
completely destroyed them. But like, yeah, it's just fun, you know. And I think that like they queued up again. Did they lose? Yeah, but like they're just gonna queue up again. So are we. It's just a good time. We got absolutely bulldozed by Black Rose, like legitimately bulldozed in the game. We were like, "Welp," and then we got Dandy in the next round, and we're like, "Let's go!" Like it was, it was just. It's just a fun time, and I think that it brings people together in the game for more reasons than just Node Wars and Siege. Right? It brings more than 3 to 5 people together for more than just Node Wars and Siege. And like that felt
I mean, it's a good
really
system,
to be able to
but
hop
I
in
still
the
like
call
open
with the
world
boys
PvP
and play
better.
it meaningfully. They were like, there was no shies last night, and they wanted to go so bad. I was like, well, technically, I could just like untag my armors and then like keep the scholar tagged, but like move everything to their shy. And they're like, "Are you willing to do that for us? Because we would totally want you to do." And so like I did it, and I just started playing shy. I played shy first because we had no shies, and you can't do the game mode without shies. Which brings up an interesting point. Shy is too powerful. Shy is just way too strong. 3v3, 15v15, large scale PvP. It's just too much. I think that
Any
they need
party content, Shy just exponentially improves the party overall. It's
it's
really
just too good.
powerful.
It's just too
I think
good.
I think
Like-
if they keep the PVE stuff like the way it is, just maybe in PvP reduce the effects, because I feel like the sentiment is really.
No.
You don't think just nerfing it a little bit?
No. Well, it's not that I want to take all the powers away from the shy, right? Like I want them to feel like an impactful support. I just don't want them to be an overwhelmingly
You have to have
you have to have it, or you can't play PvP. Like
I feel like the
tapped,
effects were
untapped, like
so like if the effects were reduced enough, it wouldn't be too bad. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of
but see,
PvE
that
group
affects our
content is
PvE.
based around that.
Correct.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They would have to change the effect only in PvP, just like how we have PvP reductions. They could just have effect reductions when relating to PvP. I feel.
I would love to see them take away some
Butcher.
of the buff in PvP, just like that. Don't touch the PvE with the buff, because in PvE it would just have dramatic implications for her ability to do PvE. So don't do that. But lower it in PvP. But more than that, yeah, you take some strength away from that ability to PvP, but give the shies a way to be like proactive supports. You know, we've talked about this before where it's like, I want to see more Alistar. I want to see more Leona. I want to see more Blitzcrank. I want to see an initiator levels of support for coming out of the shy. Take away the ridiculously busted buffs that you have going on that are just way over the top, and then move that power to like an initiate system, right? Like, yeah, we wouldn't feel it's necessarily as required. I think that would be really cool. Like in a better take. Maybe they just kind of try to do that in another class, and like Blonde said, they just tone down the buffs in PvP. But even still, I'll be honest, even if they reduce it to 10, if they cut those buffs in
Dang, another tongue grind necklace.
across the board,
All right, doing
Shy
good.
is still giving all of the players 50% or 50 gear score, basically. So right now, you're giving all your players 100 more gear score. Like it's if you cut the effectiveness in half, it's still 50 gear score. It's too much. You still required. Like there's just not a super great way to fix this, which is why I think they just need to go a different direction with Shy altogether.
Nerf Shy.
It's just rough. It's just rough.
Nerf
I was going to
Shy.
suggest maybe they should add, like right now, Shy has basically one spec. Maybe they need to add a different spec for it, like a more proactive spec.
Yeah, but then they still got to nerf the buffs. Then they got to nerf this. Is too much. Like, bro, we actually
just got to redesign the whole spec.
Yeah, I mean, if you go at this point, if you go into this new GVG, or if you go into AOS even, and the enemy team has a shy, yeah, they're up. You know what I mean? In tournaments, we see the best in guild tournament. Every single team in like the round of 8 had a shy. Every single team that didn't have a shy was knocked out immediately. Basically, almost immediately within a round or two. Like you're seeing it in large scale PvP. Your guild doesn't have a shy, it's over. It's too much. Like, as much as shy mains might complain that like, oh, I mean, we feel super useful. You're way too useful. You're way more impactful than every single other class in the game. No one cares about having a Valkyrie.
Well, it's because of all
you
the
could have a
buffs
shy.
and whatnot.
Like, would you rather have a Succession Sage or another shy? I'd rather have a shy. Like, it's just that simple. In every case, it's just too impactful. The class just needs to be nerfed. flat out. And I think that like they should take it in a different direction. Maybe yeah, like you said, they can make it a whole different spec, but then they still have to nerf the buffing aspect of the class. But like I said, the game mode really kind of highlights the fact that Shy is just really too strong right now in PvP. But like aside from that, and also the rewards again not being high enough, dang man, that game mode is a lot of fun, and it was a huge win for PvPers on top of War of the Roses. PvPers are huge right now, and I can't believe the words coming out of my mouth. It's the first time I've been able to say that in like 8 months, bro.
It's
Before,
definitely nice to have, I'm
If you
sure.
said anything about I love the one-sided deck changes, they were like heresy. You know what I mean? Like the people like hiss at you, and people got super upset about it. This is the first time I've seen those same PvPers be like, okay, we kind of happy with this.
They're not dooming anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
but I
we
still
kinda
wish we
happy
had the
with
open world
this.
PvP.
It's kind of a W. For the first time in forever. Okay, I'm done. Okay. All right. Yeah, we've definitely gone over time. So I'm gonna ask you guys for closing thoughts here, based on what we've talked about today. Whether you want to talk about War of the Roses, character progression, like we talked about before, or even the GVG system there. We'll start with Blonde, since I started with you first last time.
BDO's up big. PvP's up big.
Okay. Finally caught up with that episode. I feel like I'm so behind.
Yep. Yeah. It's calculated. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Old Moon Podcast. Professional production every week.
Yup.
Episode 47.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
Yes.
47.
I always have to.
That's so
low
crazy to
key-
think that they've done
Yeah.
47
There's
episodes.
like low key this moment where I like
So
have to check
nuts.
with Jay to make sure that I'm on the correct episode. But we did get there this time.
I do really miss
I am your host, Blue Squadron.
Value Pack
joined
podcast,
as
dude.
always
Such
with
an
my
OG
co-host, Blonde Bear.
podcast.
Hello, it's me, Blonde Bear. You can catch me at twitch.tv/Blonde Bear, where I'm playing the newly improved Scholar. I'm also playing Zerker, and yeah, we're grinding Olins nonstop. We're on the Olins train.
Oh boy, been there before. Not as much as you've been there, but been there. Oh my goodness. And we have a new look on the podcast.
A new look.
Who's this new guy?
Oh no, I'm still the raccoon. I'm still.
Well, then
I'm
who's
just being
cradling
humble.
the
What in the
raccoon?
world is going on
Who's
there?
that, bro? Like, what's going on?
It's my owner. It's my human.
That's your human? What?
Hi, my name is Gyfin. I'm an Awakening with 765 gear score.
Eh,
I do a lot of
okay.
in-game content such as Olden's Valley, the dungeons, and I'm currently working on debuting a brand new VTuber model. I'm doing a little testing today. We're just doing a little test.
VTube model something.
But you can find me over at twitch.tv/JCoodVT before the T.
Okay, right on. Okay, we have some very interesting topics to talk about today. The very first of which, Jay, you came up with this as you typically do most of our topics. Yeah. We are going to talk about guild, like group activities. Okay, the state of guild content
group
in
activity.
BDO.
Should be a good one.
And like where we think we need to go with this, and like where we are currently. Jay, since it was your kind of idea here, do you want to lead us off with regards to like, tell me about what's your favorite guild content to do currently, and then what do you feel like it's missing?
Currently, I have not really been participating in much guild content, mostly because like
classic Jay, just not a team
Yeah.
player. I
Pretty
could have
much.
told you that.
But, you know, when we look at guild content as a whole, you know, guild content has mostly been relegated to mostly like node wars, sieges, and basically like player interaction within the guild and as its form of content. But lately they've been improving a lot of emphasis on they've been emphasizing on improving guild content by increasing the incentives from like guild bosses, and now recently the addition of guild leagues, right? And so that's where we are in terms of
Gosh,
right
dude,
now.
one swing of that axe, dude, can like
I
knock
wanna
you
see, like,
out.
where they can take it further.
Jeez.
Like I was thinking like they could expand on it more and stuff like that. And so I was curious as to like, how about you guys? Like, do you guys do a lot of your participate in a lot of guild content yourselves? Like, yeah, I'm sure you guys like do node wars, probably like Blonde Bear. I don't know if you do node wars or like guild bosses. Do you do your guild bosses every week? I know there's a lot been guild league stuff as well. So,
I know Barcode does guild bosses. I don't like doing guild bosses. I think they're boring. I don't like.
I've never done a
As a
guild
general
boss.
why do you think they're boring?
Because they're just loot pinatas, man. There's nothing to it.
True.
Never done a
That's
guild
what I was
boss.
gonna say is
Like it's literal
Yeah.
garbage content.
Mhm.
Like they can improve the rewards all they want. The content does not feel fulfilling.
Mhm.
I will not go. And like as a general rule, I try to fully embrace like the idea of the sandbox. So like unless I'm having fun, I'm probably just not going to do the content. Because I'll throw a fit like a 5-year-old and not want to do it. So like in this case, the guild boss content, I mean, they did improve the rewards. The rewards are definitely worth doing. Like in terms of like people talk to it about like silver per hour and how much silver you make, blah blah blah. But again, unless I'm having fun, it's not worth my time. Because I spend essentially an infinite amount of time on BDO. I don't really care about the silver per hour per se. I care about the fun per hour and getting a loot pinata. Just like I don't go to world bosses ever either. People are like, Garmoth is open. I'm like, that's great, have fun. The only time I went to Garmoth in the last probably month.
Yeah, I don't really do much world bosses either.
They offered for the event. I went, got the statue, and then I didn't go.
Yeah,
back
that
again.
statue's
Not
pretty
because it wasn't
sick.
worth it to do, because I just didn't want to do it. Because again, it's a loot pinata. They're not very well designed. They need to be redesigned, in my opinion. Now, with regards to Node Wars and Siege, I go to those all the time because those are fun and fulfilling content. Whether I'm shot calling or not, I really enjoy it. Also, the new GVG content, like we talked about last time, is also incredibly fun. I do that as well. That's super fun. I also do AOS with the boys. And yeah, that's about it. Like, there's not much else to do as a guild in BDO, GVGs and stuff, like open world GVGs and stuff. But aside from that, there's not much else to do. But I do about as much guild content as you could expect outside of the bosses, like I said. So, Blonde, where do you sit?
You, Blonde Bear, yeah.
I bet he's the opposite.
Well, I was going to actually say the same thing. I feel like kind of the exact same way as Blue. I just don't. I used to participate in Node War and Siege content. I don't really anymore because I'm not in a guild involved with that. But there really isn't a lot of like guild building, guild bonding stuff other than like, yeah, showing up for bosses which aren't challenging. They did like rework some of the mechanics to make them more sort of receptive and like some of the mechanics have changed. So it's not harder per se, but they do hit hard. So there is a punishment to like
Come on.
not doing things correctly.
I need to heat up a little bit.
They can do better, and I think
Need
that
to
this is just
butcher's
kind of
what
like
I
a
need.
step in the right direction, but they need to go really, really far, honestly. Because I think there should be more content. Like that's kind of what the new stuff that they teased at the Coffee on Ball was talking about, like the guild raid or whatever, and then
I hate
things
denial
coming for
boss.
the new and the boss splits. Yeah, there's
Denial
a lot of that
boss
stuff
sucks.
that I think that if they can make that work in a large scale format, that'd be really cool. Another one that I mean, I think would be really cool would be like Savage.
Yo.
With your guild,
What's up, dude?
That was brought back.
What's up?
Unfortunately,
Nothing much.
we don't have that, but I wish we did.
Could you refresh our viewers' memory? I definitely remember what Savage Rift was, but other people don't. So you should explain it.
What
so
you
that
doing?
They know, and then we'll all know.
Oh, not much.
Savage Rift was this instance
Just
where you were
working on
basically in this like little
Greg's
tunnel,
intro.
and it was a portal that all these monsters poured out of, and you would have one.
Nice.
Well, you'd have.
Are you making an intro for him?
Kind of building a fort, like
yeah.
a Node War fort, while everybody else had muskets and they would shoot monsters.
Heck
you
yeah.
didn't use your abilities; you used muskets.
For I guess YouTube.
Basically,
yeah.
waves of monsters. Back in the day, it was like a pretty good way to get a lot of like knowledge on.
How's it coming along?
You wouldn't just find out in the wild.
Not too bad.
And it was
taking a lot of
time,
a lot of different apps I'm using to try and make certain effects. It was kind of trying things out,
yeah.
things out, see how it turns, see how it looks.
Yeah. And, honestly, I feel like it's almost time for them to bring it back. At the point in the game we're at, I feel like now's the time to like be like, hey, let's get this back. Let us use our abilities, make it sort of like alter our blood maybe a little bit.
I was gonna say the way that you explain that made it sound
Butcher.
so boring. Like, I just don't want to do that. I don't want to run around with a matchlock. That's what I don't want to do.
Yeah. Oh, it was definitely not fun.
What?
Fun
Well,
is
then
not
why do you want him to forgive? Okay, so what variation
because
would you want brought back?
Because if
then?
they brought it back, made it rewarding because they know kind of how to reward content, and they also made it so that we can like use our abilities rather than shoot muskets, that would actually be pretty fun. They could make that a lot of fun, in my opinion.
Okay, well, how? Okay, well,
allowing you to use your regular abilities, making it rewarding. It's like hordes of monsters. Like think of Altar of Blood, but with but like coming through a portal and fighting your Node War force. So you could put like Node War fortresses down, then you upgrade the structures, and you're basically doing like sort of like a PvE. Yeah, like a tower defense.
Almost
PvE
died there.
Node War, you know
okay.
what I mean?
Do you want my hot take? I felt like Altar of Blood was one of the most poorly done game modes. I felt like it had so much potential, but I felt like it was just terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
I did not like it at all.
First iterations of doing something different than like designing spots in a grind spot. So I agree with like the premise, but it's like it's still the right direction. Like, hey, let's invent something else to do than go in circles. I 100% agree. It should have been better though.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, Altar of Blood, for those of us that don't remember, is you would party up with 2 other people. I think it was a 3-man job. And waves of enemies would basically spawn and try to assault your tower. Like this giant tower that you had to defend. It's just a tower defense game. But it was so mindlessly boring most of the time. And it was really like, it was kind of slow paced too. Like the waves took forever to spawn. And then like, it was just, I don't know, like it was really repetitive and it didn't really feel different or unique every time. But there's so much potential for a tower defense PvE game mode in a game with combat like Black Desert. And I felt like that was just such a low effort take on tower defense that like no one did it unless there was like an event and you got rewards, in which case you did it the one time and then you were done. But like even if you were getting rewards, it really just wasn't fun content. Like it wasn't nearly as fun as it could have been. Now they said they're going to bring that back. And I'm hoping that it's way better this time. Go ahead, Jay.
Back when it first released, I thought it was really fun because it was super extremely hard at the top end. And that's where it was like for me, I think back when it was released, I was like, I don't know, like 600 gear score. And level 9 and 10 were almost impossible to do at the gear point they were at. And I think that's what made it fun for me, because it was so freaking challenging. Because you were super undergeared to be able to challenge those mobs at the time, and you had to require some sort of strategy for the earlier packs because you just didn't have enough gear to deal with them. You were incentivized to bring grab classes because there was a wave that had these bomber dudes come in and they would one-shot the tower in the middle, and you needed a grab class to deal with them to like grab those bomber dudes. And so it made for a lot of interesting strategy. And then as people got more gear, it just became, less fun because you got more gear. So I think if they do it right this time, maybe if they do it, scale it properly into that kind of difficulty, I think it would be more successful. That's what I'm hoping for.
Like, I don't know if necessarily just making the content harder is the play. Like, I really do think that they need to spice it up in some way. Make it engaging. There's so many ways to make tower defense like way better. Versus like positioning people and doing various mechanics and stuff, but like that was before they did the dungeon. They came out with that before they made the dungeon. And the first, let's be honest, the first run of the dungeon, it was solid, but the second was better. And then I think their third take on the dungeon was almost the best. So they've gotten better at like making these fun, like engaging mechanics for us over time. So like I'm hoping that this time around, it's just a way better look on actually getting that content done, because like it was so boring. If they release it like it was before, I just won't do it.
Yeah, dude.
Like I said, man, I'm just not gonna do
crazy,
man. I
man.
want to do
That night that we were heading back.
Not for the sake of doing
it.
With my tire just poof.
Like, I do think that I would absolutely do a tower defense mode.
So crazy, man.
If it was done properly, that would be super sick. I also think that tower defense,
fortunately, it was like right before I got home, so
is not the best PvE content.
What about it? Sorry, what you say?
Oh, just my tire going flat.
A raid is probably the best PvE content that they could have us do. Like a guild raid would be.
No, dude, that sucks.
And what's crazy is I even did a good deed. Did Sticks tell you that that we helped jumpstart a car up there in the parking lot.
Absolutely no downside
Yeah.
to it. Everybody coordinates. Everybody works together. Everybody
Yeah.
has a good time.
So right before we left, a kid came up to the car.
Yeah, so
It was
on
kind
the
of
way back
sketchy,
to,
but
Guild,
essentially, I think they were also
Guild
also
Talk and
watching the
stuff,
same
I was
movie that we
thinking we
did,
could maybe expand more on
and
guild missions and sort of
I guess their
maybe like
battery was dead,
systems that
and
we can share. For
so
example,
they asked if
like when
we
I
could,
think
if I
of
could jump their
content, I
car.
think of doing things with your guildies, like
So
working together and doing
I
stuff
did
together. So
that,
maybe there could be some weekly missions that
and
incentivize working together as a guild to complete
I get
the
a flat on
mission.
my
So
car,
let's
or flat
say
on
Yeah,
there's a
ain't
mission
that
tire.
where we have
crazy?
to
I
do a
know.
Hyraxian together with a full guild
Dude,
party
I've
or
jumped
something
people a
like that,
lot
or
with my
we
truck.
could
I have my
add
jumper
it to
cables
the
in the
guild
back.
list, like
Yeah.
participate in the guild league
And
with
luckily,
your
that's
guild like
knock
3
on
times
wood,
a week
you
or something
know,
like that.
that has
And in the
happened to
future, they
me.
were planning to add guild boss
Doesn't mean it
blitzes
won't
in the
happen
future for
though.
Land and Light
Yeah.
Plateau, and that could potentially be like a weekly guild mission. So basically, things that would incentivize.
Yeah, dude,
Working together. And
such a
maybe
mess
we could
though
take it
too.
further. Let's add live
Because
streams
like
for
my
it.
car
So
doesn't have a
let's say
spare
there's,
tire,
for cooking. Like let's say there's like a
and
weekly
so
potluck.
I literally, like, so
Let's
fortunately,
say
it happened right when I got
some
home.
specific food brought
So my dad
to
literally had
some
to
sort
come
of
over
NPC, and
because he's
they
got all the
and
like
they
equipment,
get like a weekly
and so
food
he brought
buff
the
from the
jack up,
guild
and so we
that's
jacked it
linked to
up.
the list of food that you
And we
brought for
took
the
the
week for the
we took the
potluck or
tire off the
whatever. So
car, and then
something
I
we
had to
can,
take
That
it
would be
to a
interesting.
tire
Like,
shop,
like getting
something
like
to
and
guild members together for like everybody has to
they had to
cook
drop
a
it
certain
off.
list
They
or
had to
whatever,
order the
and
tire,
not one
and
maybe
so I
one
got it
person
back
can do all of
today.
it. You know what I mean?
But now
Like if you contribute the
and then
balance.
I
we
of
get
had
like some sort of
to,
unique food buff based on
so I got the tire back on my
food you brought for the
car, but then
potluck.
I took my
Yeah,
car back to
basically
the
things
shop
to
because
work
the
together
left
to do stuff
tire
together.
is
So
also about
that's
to
what I
go
think
out.
when I think of guild content.
Yeah, that's
So I
cool.
gotta get both tires
Yeah, like
replaced, and then
if
they're
you
gonna
well,
check the.
it is
I think
tight
the
because
back
like
two
it kind of
tires look
gets the life
okay,
skillers involved, bro. Like
but I
generally
couldn't
speaking, when you
tell
talk about group
100%.
content,
So
you don't
hopefully the
talk
back
about life
tires are
skillers
all right.
because they're like subhuman
Yeah,
But
dude, that was
abilities.
get more.
But like
yeah, but
in
it's
this
almost
case, you
like
could actually
like
include
something's out
them,
of
and then like the
line or
life
something. I think
skillers could
like
be
the
in your
front
guild for a
alignment
big buff.
might not be right,
Like
and
that'd
so
be pretty cool. And
that
like
might
there are
be
things like cooking
what's
too.
causing
You could do something very similar for alchemy. You could have like
the
a breaking
tread to
bad
essentially be like
situation.
coming off the tire.
Everybody's get together and cooked up some.
So I don't know.
Definitely
We'll see. But
vegan
I need to
carbs.
buy a spare
Be
tire
super
for
fun.
my car.
Yeah, no, I mean that.
One of those things you don't think about until you need it, and you're like, damn.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Like I said, they're
literally, dude.
basically drugs, but they're legal drugs, and that's what's important, right?
Yeah.
Legal. And we distribute them like monopoly men. Blonde, Blonde, do you have any ideas for like guild content, like that stuff you'd really like to see?
I actually would like if there was like yeah, the tower defense is done well. If we could do the guild like boss blitzes together, like there's a lot of that stuff that they're kind of slowly tapping into and realizing that, oh yeah, people do want to play together, people do want to do group stuff, and not just guilds have to be PvP related. Like there's a lot of incentives for grouping for PvP in a guild, but not really PvE. But I'm hoping that like the new weapon upgrade and stuff like that, they just need to find, again, like you said, fun things to do, but also like people are incentivized by things that reward them, right? And
dude,
you know, I think that like the direction they're going is good. I just think obviously I would like it to be faster, but
come on,
they're slowly getting there.
Here's my
like just introducing more stuff.
Here's my hot take on this. I think that they should. They should strive to make content that is engaging, not just because the rewards are good.
Oh, I agree. I just think that
like
the problem is
step
that
one
a lot
should
of
be
players
to make
don't
good
even like
content. Well, no,
like,
I think the biggest problem is that the developers think that we like really enjoy certain content, and that's just not the case. In a lot of cases, people just do it because the rewards are good, and so the developers kind of lose sight of like what is actually good content and what isn't good content because based on what rewards they're giving each content. Like I would rather see them make really, really good content and then buff the rewards to a point that, okay, now everybody loves doing this content, right? Because it's got good rewards and it's fun, right? Rather than have really bad content that has really good rewards. For example, adventure logs. Bad content, impossibly good rewards.
I like my
can't do
adventure
anything about
logs.
it.
I think it's fun.
Like
Adventure
you
logs
just-
are fun.
And also, they could have made stuff like the adventure.
Let
logs,
you
they could have made
explore
that fun
the
content,
world.
too, if you wanted to, but like they like solo
Well, you should do those in a party. If you're not doing them in a party, you're kind of making a mistake.
Well, I don't
You
have
should
any
be doing that with
friends,
your guild or your friends or just a group of people that are also interested in. Because I've only ever done them in groups. I
It's
always am
definitely
like,
a lot more enjoyable.
I get all my friends that hate this kind of content. I'm like, all right, guys, I got the guide. Follow me. I'll lead you the way. We're just gonna have some laughs and Discord chat a little bit, and we sit there for 2-3 hours and run around the map and do all this stuff. I like that
Yeah,
because I like
I
doing
enjoy
the
the
chauffeur
I
kind of
enjoy the
stuff.
venture
But
logs.
I understand it's not really.
Yeah, I mean, we have
Good
we have a chatter here that says, if the devs heard you a few minutes ago and added alchemy and cooking guild get-togethers, no one would do it unless the rewards were insane. That's not really true. A lot of people do. A lot of people do cooking and alchemy anyway. And to be able to do it with other people or having or to like have a meaningful impact on your guild, to give like a food buff that was like a super grand meal,
Even if it was
or
like
something,
a
even if it was just an event.
like a 5% buff, or it's a even if it's a 1% to 5% min maxing, people will do that just to do it. People just like that kind of stuff. I think that, and I agree with I think you honed in on a very specific point. There is content that is good and there's content that is bad, and I think that there's so many types of players that certain types of content is way better for some people. Like I actually, unironically, like grinding. I like the combat in the game. I like killing monsters,
I think most
accumulating
people like
EXP
grinding.
and stuff.
They just don't want to admit it. Yeah,
Oh, I love
I
grinding.
think people just don't want to admit that they like grinding.
It's fun.
Cases.
Right. And I think that there can be fun game modes that like are like, hey, like go kill a bunch of mobs with some cool, interesting mechanic that could be the new game mode, and it be that thing. I think that there's a way to get that done, and I know it's taken PA a long time, but like I agree with your Dungeon Take Two, where like the first one was like, can they do it? The second one was, how crazy can we do it? The third one was like, this is an actual phase by phase encounter that's like, in my opinion, really well balanced. You can speed run all the way to the actual boss encounter, and then it's like actually engaging, in my opinion. So I think that it's just unfortunately taking them a long time, but I think they're getting there. And so, yeah, I'm excited.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, again, I want the focus to be pushed away for, like, everyone always talks about rewards. And although that is a critical part of content, like, it could be the best content in the world. If it gives terrible rewards, people just aren't going to do it super long term, right? They'll do it up front. Yeah. For example, horse racing. Horse racing is great content that doesn't have good enough rewards consistently enough, so people just don't do it enough. But it is good content while people are doing it. I actually think now that they've buffed it, it's in a reasonable spot. So people will go do their weeklies every week because, well, one, they kind of enjoy doing the content, right? And then it gives them the magical or the mystical feather or mythical feathers that they need for their T10 attempts. This is a W. That's the kind of content that they should strive for. Good, well-designed content that also has really solid rewards. But I think that, like, you could have really bad content that you
Dang, another tongue red necklace.
for, and people are going to do it, and that gives a really, really bad.
Boy, making some crazy money right now.
They think, oh wow, there's a lot of people doing this content. They really like.
You are.
Oh yeah.
And I think that
having a good hour so far. As long as I don't die.
People have been screaming for a long time now.
Probably my best hour so far here.
Refuses to give any sort of rewards, and that's the biggest problem.
Got another butcher.
The PvP scene is the scene that I will point to. Chief among them. People just like, you just don't make any money. Even in the GVG content, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're averaging negative, probably 200 million an hour. If you're doing the guild GVG system and you're being competitive with it. It's like, if you're popping elixirs, perfumes, and all your house buffs, church buffs, villas, all that stuff, you add all that money together and dying all those times and repopping the consumables, yeah, you're absolutely negative on money. It's just not enough money. Life skillers are another group that I can point to and say confidently that they are not making enough money, except for maybe the hunters. The hunters are making a solid amount of money if you like are a top end hunter. But like, you shouldn't have to spend 450 billion, 550 billion silver to make $1 billion silver an hour hunting necessarily. Like, I think that you should be able to get to like 600 or 700 million an hour with Tri-Manos is like reasonable. Hunting's a pretty active life skill. You have to pop consumables.
It's fun.
You're constantly at your computer, always doing stuff. I don't think it's unreasonable to buff that a little bit, but if you're going to buff hunting, it's already in the best spot of all the life skills. What about gathering?
Hunting's pretty good.
Bartering is like, bro, don't even get me started on sailing my boat around. Like, Oh my goodness, dude. Like bartering makes 0 silver compared to people ask me how much silver per hour I make while bartering. And if you math it out, I'm a top end barterer. It takes me 4 hours to make about 1.8 billion. 1.5 billion. I would say 1.5 is more reasonable. So you're taking 4 hours to make 1.5 billion silver. That is horrendous money, right? Like it's a semi AFK activity, so I understand that it shouldn't be making as much as like the normal active content, but it is really, I think bartering is an example of really well designed content that doesn't give good enough rewards. Life skilling is kind of the same thing, except for trading, which they removed. But like there's a lot of examples of content that is really good in the game. I would like to see those rewards buffed. I think that the developers have kind of gone in this direction where their idea of buffing like bad content is to give it really good rewards so that people feel like they have to do it and explore that content. And then content that is really good, they just keep the rewards like really low because they know people are already going to do that anyway. And that's miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where we're at.
I think when it comes to bartering, how I think they should go about bartering is that it's a way for you. It's like it's going to be two different like main reasons for bartering. Is one, to barter for money, and the two is to upgrade your ship. So I think that's like the other main thing, and I think that should lead into sea monster hunting as your next purpose for upgrading your ship. And it just seems like right now, like the sea monster hunting is like so freaking bad for like just like actively doing it.
Dude.
You're just literally doing it for the null.
It
and
is
so
it's about 150 to 180 million silver an hour.
So I do feel like there should be more of a reason to, like when you're upgrading your boat, like this is the reason, like, oh, I'm upgrading my boat so I can make, I don't know, like a bill plus an hour, just like filling crocs. And then I'm also trying to get this like really cool treasure item at the same time. I think the null is still the least created treasure in BDO, if I'm not mistaken, just like off the top of my head.
Yeah, if you don't include the LVI, because people that make that are idiots.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
True.
Yeah, that's who would make the LVI. That's true.
Yeah. It's the Ebony Snow is definitely the rarest item in the game because there's the smallest amount of boat content. I actually think that there's a lot of people that have Carracks.
Yeah, but they don't see Monster Hunter. They just do it for bartering, right?
Well, that's the big. Well, no, it's just that like people get their Carrack because they want the big boat. All of us at some point in time looked out into the Velia Harbor and said, "Damn, I want a boat. I want to, yeah, yeah. You just put the gun down. Damn, I want a boat that big. You know what I mean? Like, look at that huge boat. Like, that is super cool. Everyone, like, Corsair is actually a pretty popular class for newer players before they realize that it's terrible. They like it's got a great thematic, right? Like that pirate thematic. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
And so like. There are a lot of people that have Carracks, but the second that you get your Carrack, it kind of falls off pretty hard. Like you're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to do this anymore. Because like only the true like super boatsmen people are going to go for that blue gear because then you really do have to get down and dirty with the boat content. You have to like get out there. You have to do crocs. You have to get out. You have to barter an absolute crazy amount. And you have to stock up grow coins and stuff over time. But like, and again, that tanks. The reason bartering, see, I can make like 1.5 to 1.8 billion an hour. Billion an hour. Billion a day bartering. But the problem is, no one else can really do that unless you have full blue gear on your Carrack. You really aren't making any money bartering. You're making money off your tier 5 mats, and even then you have to trade those for crow coins.
Yeah,
all of your crow coins.
Upgrade your boat.
Yeah, all of your crow coins immediately go into upgrading your boat again. So at most people are making about 800 million silver a day bartering with all their routes open. If you take away the crow coins, you're making like 800 mil to a bill a day tops, doing all three. So, and that's going to take you at minimum 4 to 5 hours to do. Most people are not going to do that. That content needs to be buffed because it's really good. People enjoy it. It doesn't. I understand that there needs to be a discrepancy between like grinding, which is like super active, really sweaty. You're using consumables. Like, okay, yeah, that should make more silver per hour, right? Hunting should have the most life skilling like silver per hour. Gathering should probably be next. And then what's the other? There's What's the other like super
Well, I
active?
feel like the amount of effort and time and money you spend on getting a really good boat, you should also be rewarded with like the same dealio with hunting, is that you spent so much money on Manos gear to reach that 2,000 hunting mastery. Of course, you're going to be making
I bet
like
I'm
a pretty good
focused
amount,
on
but it's not the same
editing.
scalability
Oh no,
with
you're
it.
good,
So
dude.
that makes
I'm
sense
listening to a
for
podcast
sea
anyway.
monster hunting, in terms of you're spending so much time and effort to just upgrade your boat, get that plus 10 blue gear, and then you're making what, like 200 mil an hour
Oh, my
crafts?
silence ain't good enough.
And I just feel like there
Well,
could be a little bit
I
more
didn't
of
say
an
that.
adjustment there,
Mhm.
Yeah, you're
specifically for active sea monster hunting.
I mean, like sea monster hunting is very, very poorly done.
All good, all
In
good.
general, if I look out at the ocean right now, like there's Crocs is supposed to be a party grind zone, and that's great, but they nerfed it so hard that like you basically just go out there and do it yourself, and you can do it on our shit 24/7 because no one's out there.
Yeah.
Lekrashan is actually, this is some sleeper good content. Like doing the Lekrashan boss is something that I think a lot of players would absolutely love. It is this giant sea monster. So you first of all, you have to sail around. It's party. I think you could do it a party of 3. But like it might be a party of 2, but I'm pretty sure it's a party of 3. You sail around in a party and you kill all of these 9 sharks and black rests until the Lekrashan spawns, until you anger him in his habitat, right? So then the Lekrashan spawns, and it is this massive,
It's
like,
really big. Yeah.
like it is huge, scary looking sea monster that can basically 2-shot a green geared Carrick. Like it is super super cool, and like doing content like that, like really scary, like big monster, like you're shooting them with your big cannons and stuff. That's the content that we want to do, especially as a party. That content is relatively well designed. The rewards are so bad for that content
bad,
that
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I am one of maybe 100 people on the whole server that has done Lekrashan. Like on God, like it's
I've done it too.
yeah, exactly. But but you went out there probably just for fun, right? How
I
many
went out
times?
there just to test it out, because I was like,
Yeah.
I was doing my dailies and I was like, oh, there's Lekrashan. He just happened to spawn while I was doing my
Okay,
dailies.
so you did it
like, might as well.
accidentally. You did it accidentally. I sailed around the first time I did it. It took me 6 hours to get him to spawn. So like I
Really?
will
What the
say that
heck? Oh.
I will say that trying to get him to spawn is really hard. Sometimes. It's a lot faster now that I have blue gear on my Carrick, but like like getting him to spawn kind of sucks, but like that fantasy of like fighting big sea monsters like that in the ocean and then sailing around with your friends and having it be really challenging content is something that's seriously lacking from our boat content in BDO. And you could make this guild content. You could make like because the guild galley, like if we had boat content that was meaningful, because again I'm trying to wrap this back to our current discussion.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got off track, but like I think if you could literally get a bunch of people on a guild galley, I actually think that the system that they employed for the guild galley is actually super fun content. It's really cool. And like I think that people would really plus you can see who's missing their rows. So you're like, Aurelio, stop griefing us. You know what I mean? Like you like
You
the
call them
shot
out.
caller, you can call him out and be like, bro, stop sucking. Like it's a fun, dude, and it does a lot of damage too. Like they could make
Do you have the upgraded one? The big upgraded guild galley? Do you already have it?
I think Barcode has the upgraded guild. They already had like all the old stuff, so I think that it was like it was really easy for them to
do you still have to get on top of a cannon, or is it like manual? Is it like the Carrack where you shoot with from the captain?
I haven't done it yet. I haven't gotten to do it. Like I've only seen like the videos online, and then I looked up a bunch of videos of other people doing it, and they're all having a lot of fun. The problem is they're killing canned items. Like there's no risk or reward, right? Like what if you made like the ocean like a like you could make the ocean like kind of a red zone where like if you sail around and you sink another guild galley or something, like you get like a certain amount of their bounty or whatever, and then they have to go spawn. They spawn at like a nearby wharf again, and then they come back. It doesn't have to be blue battlefield, but like you could have the guild galleys pitted against each other, and then the Carracks could come join in too. But the guild galleys kind of pump Carracks. I'm gonna be honest, unless you have an Ebon Rune Snow, or you're like a fully upgraded Carrack with like perfect sailors. in which case you can probably outsail the galley because they have to be coordinated and you don't. But like, yeah, you could totally make guild content. You could make PvP like boat content that was like part of the ocean is just like a pirate zone, right? And if you sink someone in that zone, you actually get a reward for sinking them, and then they spawn. There's no penalty for them dying necessarily, but they spawn in at like the Sea Palace or something, and then they can sail back out and try again.
You know what? When we were talking about like boat stuff, that what reminded me of was the boat content that I saw in, I think it was Arc Age. Like everybody had like a role to do in Arc Age. Like I was watching some videos, like there was the captain saying something like, "Oh, raise the sails," or like lower the anchor to lower down the boat. And I feel like maybe for the character they could add some extra roles. Like maybe you could add like actual mountable cannon for somebody to join you on your sea monster croc journey, or they could man the crow's nest or something to, I don't know, speed up the boat or something. And so right now the character is just like it's a solo ride and you're just transporting people. There's nothing anybody can help you with. And maybe if they added some more things for people to do on the character, you could add additional content for that, for the group aspect, you know.
Yeah, no.
In this case, the guild content.
Yeah, I mean, part of the content that we miss with our old boats and stuff is the mountable cannons, right? Like going out on the ocean with somebody that was on your boat that could like shoot the cannon. Now that wasn't, it was fun, but like not very many people enjoyed it. Again, they miss the idea that Jay is onto something important. It's like giving people jobs and stuff on the ocean. Part of the reason Sea of Thieves is incredibly fun to play is because you have to actually sail the boat. Okay, you have to turn the sails and stuff. One guy's got to be on the wheel. Another guy's on the forward
you gotta
sail.
Reload the cannons.
You got that. Yeah, you got to reload the cannons. Oh, we got hit. We ran aground because the moron on the wheel is like Stevie Wonder. So I got to go down and repair the boat. You know what I mean? Like adding jobs for people to do, to run around and do, so that like you feel like a deckhand while you're in combat, right? Like that is super, super fun mechanics for the ocean. The guild galley kind of like taps into that a little bit, right? Because like there's stuff for people to do, is really cool. So like the more that they kind of lean into that, I think the more you'll see people want to go out and do party content on the ocean. The problem is there's nothing to do right now. The Siren is solo content. If they made some big Leprechaun boss, or some like the pirates that would spawn on top of you, if they made those really scary, like if you're sailing around with your guild galley and you had like a chance for like the pirates to spawn, but like if you didn't coordinate properly, they gonna sink you. You know what I mean? But like if you kill their boat, you get like 3 billion silver in guild funds. That would be pretty cool. Or you get some really cool guild stuff, right? Like they need to follow it up. The guild galley is actually solid content. Again, there's 0 rewards or incentive to do it at all. So like, it's great content. You've got to give the rewards now, right? I feel like they designed a good system. Now you've got to give us the rewards. And they have like the pirate system. They added that not too long ago. They buffed up like the pirates. Like an entire pirate fleet was like kind of
invested into system, and then they just haven't been like, you know, committing.
They haven't done anything with it. Yeah, like I really do think that like they could make that a crazy amount of fun, and it would be amazing guild content. We talked about PvE. We talked about like the life skilling, or like the life skilling aspect, and like the boat content for guild stuff. Do you guys think that they need to add any more PvP guild content? I know you guys are the PvEers.
I mean, I know if I say no, people are gonna be like, "Why is this PvE you're talking about my PvP?"
That's okay. I'll set them straight. It's all good.
I think that the GVG is something that everybody was like, "This is gonna suck," and then it was great, and everybody that I've talked to has absolutely loved it. But now it's like making the format of guilds be weird because people are dropping to join, to drop, and get with a certain group. So I think that obviously, yes, more content should always be added to the game, but you know.
Look, I'm a PvPer. No more PvP guild content until we see group PvE guild content.
We're getting there soon.
Like I think, but well, they're gonna add like the boss blitz stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I just want stuff to do cooperatively with my guild that isn't just super crazy PvP stuff all the time. I would like the option to do other stuff with my guild. Would be super cool. But like, yeah, I mean, like obviously we're not going to say no to more guild PvP content. The thing is, we've already got a lot of that. If we could like explore other things, would be great. Like I thought Jay's idea for life skilling was actually pretty good. Put everybody in the same room. Everybody contributes like one of the major meals, and then the entire guild gets like a protein buff or whatever, like for like the next week or so.
Protein.
Yeah, whatever, you know, like whatever it is. Like that would be really cool, and I think guilds would actually do it. I think it would be fun. Like so that would be good stuff. Okay, we beat guild content to death today, boys. Oh my goodness. All right, so the second topic we want to talk about today are the events in BDO. Okay. So current events. Current. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I deleted my thingy. The event design in BDO. Be honest with yourselves. Do you guys feel the current event designs, or the events that we've gotten in the last 3 to 4 months, are up to snuff? Do you feel like they could be doing more with it, or do you like what they're doing with events currently?
I think they're okay. They just haven't innovated in a while. And what I mean by that is, like we just, drop rate events are great and all. Like I like drop rate events. I'm a grinder, and then they always like rotate between like grinding events and then life skill events and then some sort of either like seasonal event and stuff like that.
Tag event.
And some new forms of events, or rather bringing back some old forms of events would be really cool. Is collabs. I feel like we haven't had a collab in a while, and there was one in the past.
I want a collab so bad. Bugatti.
Yeah, but there was one really popular one. I wasn't there. I wish I was there, but there was one with Berserk, the anime, and it came with these exclusive outfits.
The best outfit in the game. And no one can get it anymore.
They're discontinued. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't get it anymore.
No one has it. It's crazy.
I have it.
Of the players, like I'm sure a bunch of people.
I have it. I have
the
Berserk
outfit anymore. I
nope,
have not
I do.
seen it in probably a year.
I
have
have
not
it.
seen anybody wearing it in probably a year. Like I'm sure that there's one guy in the audience right now that's like, I have it. Me.
Yep, I have it. Me.
But
yep.
like we love those. Like the collab events are great. I'll be honest. The reason that they don't do collab events is probably because it costs them money, right? But like events in
Let's see how much we got.
I think it would be really cool if they did an event for War of the Roses, because it would really hype up War of the Roses. If you had to, and I've said the faction thing many times, but this one would be relatively simple. If you had to pick, choose, rally to your side for War of the Roses, right? And you had to choose which side that you wanted to win War of the Roses or whatever, right? And then you could do certain quests to kind of support your side. Like that would be really cool. And then separate from War of the Roses, if you win the bet for War of the Roses, you get a certain reward. But whatever side has the most contribution to it also gets a certain reward, right? That'd be really cool. Anything that allows us to get invested in the lore are events that I feel like we are severely lacking on.
Dang, I got 109 cappers that time.
Our lore is pretty good. I'm going to be honest. Just no one cares because the developers have presented it to us in a way that is terrible. No one cares about questing in BDO, and that's the presentation, right? But if you gave it, and also our cutscenes suck. If our cutscenes were really, really good, people would 16. Feel more invested. If you had to bet and fight for the region that you wanted to win, and there were rewards invested into it, people would care a lot more about the lore. As it turns out,
17.
It's yeah, no, I'm fighting for Kama, you traitorous bitch. You know what I mean?
3. I got 3 of those. That's crazy.
It would be
3.
It would be fun. People give people a reason to get invested, because we're certainly not going to do it on our own. The questing is not going to do it for us. The cinematics are not going to do it for us. But I think the events, the world is rich with lore. It has a lot of really solid lore in it. Some of the lore is crap. Let's be real. But some of the lore is really good. Like the 14, Wusa, the Megu lore, Odalita versus the region lore. where the
9,
regions
10,
are all like
11,
angry at each
12,
other and what's going on with Ailton and all this fun stuff.
8,
Like and everything that's going on
11,
in
12,
Medaya and
13,
like
14.
Ulakita and stuff. That's all
Perfect.
tremendously fun.
So
You
that
could make events
hour,
based
I
around
ended up
those things that would help
getting
people invest a little bit more into the world.
nice.
Would be a lot of
Save.
fun. And I think that like really easy to do. Good.
So I really wanted to.
Screenshot.
So that really reminded me of this one thing that this other game did, with this, which was super cool, was like this one-time event that changed the world or whatever, right? And they've done it a couple times in their game, but there was this one particular one called it was like the opening of Encourage or whatever in World of Warcraft.
Yes, sir.
It was an introduction to a brand new raid, and it was going to open at this time, and you got like a special achievement, a special mount for just being there. And then the event was just like the gates were open, the gates would flood, everybody would start doing that raid. And I feel like it'd be super cool to have those sort of like one-time events in BDO. Like we know BDO is starting to age, and I think it would be really cool to see the world of BDO like over time also changing to reflect the age of the game as well through events. Like let's say there's an event where, I don't know, the forces of Adum is sieging upon Calphion or Valencia or something, and then
Cool. Hey man, I'm gonna hit the sack, man. I hope you have a good night.
All right, man. I did.
Yeah, peace.
Take it easy.
All right. Peace out, YouTube. Hope you all have a good night. Thanks for watching.